Babylonian with you. Yes, you heard right, Babylonian. So how on earth do we know what Babylonians cooked or ate? Well, the answer is simple. They wrote it down. We know Babylonian recipes from the so-called Yale Culinary Tablets, which are now at the University of Yale, hence the name. And they are actually cuneiform tablets with a number of recipes on it. Now, most of them actually feature very meaty dishes, but I thought, let's do something light today. So I chose a recipe, not only for that reason, but also for the reason that it actually reminds me of a modern Iranian dish that I happen to know. So, of course, we have the problem, as with all historic recipes, that they're very imprecise. So we do not have any quantities, which is normal, but in this case also, sometimes the correct translation of the ingredient is a little unclear. So there's plenty of room for interpretation. Now let me read the original recipe to you the way it was written down. It is called Elamite broth. Elam was what is now southwestern Iran, so it is actually an Iranian dish. So Elamite broth. Meat is used. You prepare water. You add fat. Dill, wild leek, cilantro, leek, garlic, blood, a corresponding amount of sour milk, and more garlic. The original name of this dish is Zukanda. End of the original text. Now, what do we do with it? Well, first of all, I would interpret the words meat is used, you prepare water, as broth. So I prepared a good meat stock from sheep, actually, from lamb, which would have been a very common source of meat. You add fat. It is not clear what kind of fat is used. It could have been animal fat, but it might have also been vegetable fat, so let us add a nice dash of olive oil. Dill and cilantro actually are herbs that are still widely used in Iranian cuisine. As it is winter now, I only have the dried one that we harvested in summer and dried it. Now, we come to these ingredients here. Actually, all those Mesopotamian recipes feature very, very heavily all kinds of plants from the garlic and onion family. So we have a mixture of leeks. Yeah, wild leek, that's the question. Do they mean the greens or do they mean the bulb? Both is wild leek and garlic. So we peel the garlic. Chop all of them. At this point, the original recipe asks for blood. Now, it's not clear how much blood, and I guess it wouldn't be too much, just as a thickening agent, but I think we can as well omit it. But we will add what is called sour milk. I just took yogurt. And this is why this recipe actually reminds me of the Iranian Mast yogurt soup. In an Iranian Mast you would have chickpeas as well and rice. I wouldn't find the addition of barley strange as well, but We will keep it simple now, the way it's actually written down. Now, I'm going to let this whole thing boil at the fire. But of course, you can as well do this in a normal pot. Meanwhile, while the soup is simmering, we can prepare the bread. Now, bread in ancient Mesopotamia was predominantly made from barley. I have some barley flour here. And now we don't know whether they used yeast or sourdough or whether it was flatbread from the ovens that we actually have. They are like the modern day tandoors of the region. I would assume that it was rather flatbread. So this is what we are going to prepare. It's very easy. Flour, salt. I would add some oil as well. And water. Shape some dough balls out of the dough. And roll them. Now, in a just slightly oiled pan, we bake those flatbreads until they're done. Now, the end of the recipe asks for more garlic. The actual sentence is add more garlic. I've been wondering why, if there's already garlic inside, should I add more in the end? And I thought maybe it's a kind of condiment, similar to, well, garlic oil, or similar to, again, the Iranian. Nanada, just without mint. So a kind of crunchy garlic oil that can be added to the soup afterwards. I think something like this is meant. If not, putting garlic twice wouldn't make sense. Bon appetit. The appropriate drink with it, by the way, is beer. This is what Mesopotamians had as a daily drink. Cheers.